don't know what I'll be in future. But then there was theatre, there was literature, young school age, college age. But I see television in 82 in India. So 80s, 81, I come out of school and get into a college. And my education system was not a system, or even today it is not a system where they reimagine the future. And also, they never told us that I could be a television presenter or a television actor, there was a future there, or a radio jockey, no. Then I see 94, we get the computers, then we get the iPhones. So my generation is such that over time we were trying to adapt to newer future, because basically for us, a job or a profession is not just an identity, right? It is your relevance in the society. And we don't prepare our youngsters to be relevant 10 years down the lane with all the changes or the growth of technology or what is necessary for a society to continue. Because if you're not relevant at all. You're of no use. You're a weight to the society. So it was very a dream to watch films in theatres. And I came to cinema because I was in theatre, a Kannada theatre, and I thought I'll be a big theatre actor and a director and an activist also, because I'm a result of a very protest literature which was coming in Karnataka then, where the literature was in connection with the theatre, poetry. I had the luck of having an audience or having interaction with great writers like Lankesh, Tejasvi, Kuvempu, and the great farmers movement which was happening. But then somewhere after the 80s, theatre was not giving us a job security, nor was it economically viable, and then we drifted into television. And reluctantly, I came into cinema. I was actually pushed into cinema. I wanted to be an editor, I wanted to be a director, but then fine, and there it is. Then you come to Tamil Nadu, you meet Balachandar, you meet Mani Ratnam. I am not a very avid watcher of films even now. I am more a reader. I like to read books. For me, watching films is a waste of time. Yeah. And especially the ones I have watched. They said, Prakash, do you watch your films? I said, out of 300, 400 films I have acted, I must have watched around 30, 40 films. Because half of them is nonsense I do. And I'm very popular for the films I do, which give me some bread money, some beer money, and every now and then just a little. I need to survive. But then yes, I do have the joy of doing some meaningful films, purposeful films, which give me a lot of joy. Watching films in theatre, movie going was a great experience. I've always loved it because it is wonderful to experience a story together as a community, as a lot of people we come. But over the years, why has it failed? Why theatres are now more interesting? And I'm very happy it happened. I'm very, very happy COVID happened. Because according to me, cinema is the newest language invented by human beings. It is not just an art form. And any language should be like a river, it should flow. But when that language of cinema was invented, and when artists, directors, technicians, musicians, everybody started claiming it is our medium. Writer said it is our medium, and there was a silent film without dialogues. The cameraman said that is my medium, I could make it aesthetically, and then there was wild films which were just documenting. Music said it was. So all different forms wanted to get into it, but it survived. And what we are facing today is, I think over the years, there was a mafia which came into cinema. It is like a farmer, a farmer grows a brinjal and he is able to get only 15 rupees for his lot of hard work. He gets up 4 in the morning, he has to reap it, he should be in the market at around 5:36. But the buyer, the consumer buys it for 45 rupees. What happened to the 30 rupees in between? It was the mafia which was eating, because nor were they growing, nor were they consuming. That happened with cinema. The minute cinema came, then there was the studio system, and they said you have to watch films, produce films only through studios who had access to everything. And there were a movement called independent filmmakers. Then it became theaters, distributors, exhibitors, and you will have to pay their money, their rent, their tax. And you will have to spend a lot of time. You have to stand in the queues. You have to spend 1 hour to grow, 2 hours to watch a film, 1 hour to come back. But we were in a mafia. You have to go. And the sort of films you wanted to, the mafia saw to it that sometimes it doesn't get a release because it is not popular anymore. Nor does it bring the tickets. But now today the situation has changed because there were fights for making meaningful cinema, but they would not be in theaters for people to see. So the connect between the artist and the consumer, the audience, was decided by the middlemen, the rate tickets and things like that. And they tried to make film theaters very interesting also. They had a canteen, they had a cycle stand, and they had some children's play area, and there is a mall there. But everything was that. But when COVID came in, everything stopped. Because before that, 1 or 2 individuals used to fight, but they couldn't survive against the bigger infrastructure of the mafia. But when COVID struck, people had to see films. Now I think something beautiful happened then, because now audience had the choice to listen to or to watch films in their own time. They could see it in the night, they could download it, they could watch in the small screen. Now that is what has shook the mafia. Because why I keep calling them mafia? Because they never invested time to empower the art of filmmaking at all. They brought in a concept that you have to make a film in 2.5 hours. So there should be a beginning bang, an interval twist, and a climax bang. You have to think only in 2.5 hours. Because there is an interval. Which again, a mafia of the canteens and things like that, and this many shows, they can reap money. But now it is free. When you see web series, you get to watch so many stories. A maid who comes and the camera goes with her and there is another story. You can watch films for 12 hours, 13 hours. And I saw this coming because when I was working with K. Balachandraji, and when the television came in, and when there was television serials, and he was from making 100 films as a filmmaker, as a director of cinema, he was very excited writing for television serials. And I asked him why. He said, I can write what I want now. I have so much to say, and cinema was holding me back for 2.5 hours, and I had to make it. And now I have freedom to tell my stories for 10 hours. And now the new superstars have grown, because actors or stars should come out of a film. You can't make films for superstars. Now today, any web series, any good actor is a star because he has told you his story. And I think it's a very beautiful place, but at the same time, I do miss going to theaters. I miss going to theaters to have that community experience of sharing a story, of reacting to a story, of enjoying a story. And probably the future would be films which are events, films like Avatar or something like that we can enjoy only through theaters, and the rest, of course, I think I can see a Korean film. Today, if you see, being in Kerala, the Malayalam films have just taken over on the web network, because they now started seeing content, and they started appreciating what beautiful writing is there in Malayalam film industry. That means there was an investment into empowering cinema and the thought process. That is why they are now feeling poor. The other industries are feeling poor, that we are very poor because we don't have that writing. We have not empowered curated those writing capabilities. And I think, yes, it's very nostalgic to go to movie theaters, and I really like movie theaters, because the other day when I was shooting in Bombay for a web series, and I had a day off, and it was the first day release of Avatar, and I took my 7-year-old son. It was a great experience watching Avatar. But then not every film. And I like it, today's space, because it is more fair play, wherein audience can choose what they want, they can experience it when they want, and there is a space to watch it like reading a book by themselves. They can see it at what time they would. I see a lot of people now on flights, they would have downloaded. So the watching cinema has not diminished. In fact, I would say it has enhanced. There are more audience and there are more beautiful things. And yes, I miss watching communally as a group. But sometimes I also see when a film like Kashmiri Files comes, I don't want that sort of a sharing a story. That's a lousy story to share among people, I know. And well, I think this is it, and I would like to continue the session with a lot of questions. Your naughty questions, putting me in a tightrope, or let's just discuss.